Now that we're sitting here, man, I mean, look at this place. It's beautiful. We're sitting on the yacht, sunshine, on the canyon here.
Yeah.
Man, did you ever think that you would be in this position?
Nah, man, that's something I think about a lot, man. I say my prayers, thank God a lot. Thank, my family. Getting emotions, man. My dad, my parents, man, they made some big sacrifices.
Yeah.
Big sacrifices. And that's something that I appreciate a lot now because of, what we do and how we do what we do and the weight that comes with it. But nah, man, I never pictured this at all.
I was a Chicago police officer for over 20 years with a starting salary of $36,000 a year, a badge, a uniform, and a dream that didn't quite fit inside that salary. So I started investing in real estate, and everything changed. Over 400 properties later, I took everything I learned and built the #1 real estate training platform called Make Real Estate Real. Thousands have taken the course, built real wealth, and changed their lives forever. I'm Jemal King, and on this show, I sit down with some of my successful alumni to show you exactly how they did it. Ernie, what's up, my brother?
What up, my brother?
Hey,
Welcome
man.
to Arizona, man.
I know,
Welcome
right?
To Arizona.
I know.
Finally made it.
Hey, let me tell you something. You were the only person that could get me and Camille out here to Arizona. Don't tell April I said that, though. But man, bro, did you ever think, we met each other, what, like 2017, 2018?
It had to be 17, 18, at the conference in San Diego, man.
Yeah, what was it? Take Control, right?
Take Control, yo, E.
Yeah, Take Control, bro. Crazy thing is, that was like my second time ever speaking. The first time I was we were in San Francisco, and I killed it, right? E and C put me on the stage, I killed it. And CJ and E, they both was like, hey man, you're a motivational speaker now. They was like, welcome to your new life. And I was feeling myself. And then I remember they was like, hey, we're gonna have you keynote in San Diego. And so I was like, all right, man, I'm a motivational speaker now. So I wrote out my whole speech. I tried to memorize it. And I don't think you know this, but I got on that stage in San Diego, and I was trying to say verbatim exactly what I wrote down. And actually, my wife was in the audience, man. She was like, that was the worst absolute keynote you ever done. And CJ was like, man, that was terrible. And my sister, she thought she's like, that was great. That was great. That's my big sister. But man, that was the first time I actually got a chance to meet you. I met your sister there, man. And it's amazing just what came from that one meeting with you. So look, I got another question. Now that we're sitting here, man, I mean, look at this place. It's beautiful. We're sitting on the yacht, sunshine, on the canyon here.
Yeah.
Man, did you ever think that you would be in this position?
Nah, man, that's something I think about a lot, man. I say my prayers, thank God a lot. Thank, my family. Getting emotions, man. My dad, my parents, man, they made some big sacrifices.
Yeah.
Big sacrifices. And that's something that I appreciate a lot now because of, what we do and how we do what we do and the weight that comes with it. But nah, man, I never pictured this at all.
So I'm talking about take me back to where you, when you was younger.
Yeah.
That Ernie growing up, what part of LA was you from?
Yeah, so I was born in East LA, and then we grew up around, Linwood, which is right next to Compton. And back in those days, man, it was those days.
Easy-E, NWA.
Yeah, Easy-E, man. That was on the cassette tape. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was my upbringing, in those areas, that type of lifestyle, that surrounding. So never did I picture anything like this. This wasn't even a thought. This was something we'd watch with Robin Leach.
Yeah, right. Lifestyles of rich and famous, yeah.
We would watch these things and just hope and dream, to have that, to be able to be around that one day or whatever. And so to actually be doing it and seeing how it could be done, and I compare myself to my young self a lot, man, I used to think this, and then look at what I'm doing, right? And one thing you talk about a lot, man, the financial education, understanding that is something where, and I think about that a lot when I go back to my past, where it's like, man, this, I know him by name, Mr. Granger, man. If you see this one day, the impact he made by just asking me, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Like nobody ever asked me that. And so for me, that, short fused my mind, where I started reprogramming myself, wait a minute, I never thought of that, and so things like that. And then to see now it's like to actually sit here and be, okay, in 5 years I do see this, you know, in 10 years I could do this, where back in the days, man, it's minute by minute.
So give me a backstory. Like when you even came, what made you come to the conference? Like, you know, here these guys are.
I remember when you walked in and I was like, man, I wonder who this guy is. You know, but it was cool because you came in and you were shaking everybody's hand, man. And I don't know if you remember that. Like,
I remember that. I went through every single aisle and shook every person's hand.
And that's what made me like, who is this dude? You know what I mean? Like, and then for you to do that, I'm like, cool. And then for you to get on stage and tell your story, like I said, it hit me. And then you saying you were a police officer, man, was just like, whoa, like, because I grew up in LA, I grew up in the streets and all that type of story, man. So for me to be impacted by an officer, right, it was just like that's crazy, the circle of my life, right, where I went from this to that. Now I got somebody that was supposed to be on that side motivating me, right? And then once we got to dinner, man, and then we hit it off there, we had the talk. Like that to me was like so special to me, where again a life lesson for me was I didn't even want to come to this thing, you know, I didn't need it, and here I am. I'm like, man, this is like the most impactful one I had, you know, and not only that, man, for us to be talking about real estate, which in that phase of my life I was in that, like, I need to learn real estate, I was taking, you know, classes, I was going to things.
So you were going to other conferences, yep. We don't have to say any names, but you was actually going to other like real estate conferences at the time.
Yep.
Did you ever pull the trigger at that point, or was you just kind of?
I was always hitting a wall. Like, I'm not comfortable with it. You know, I'm not all the way there. I don't know. I know this much, but I don't know that part. So that's what, for me, when me and you were talking, and I remember I asked you, like, hey, well, like, one of these days let's talk real estate. Yeah. You know, and then you told me like that you were working on something.
Yeah, I said, I remember that exact thing. You were saying, hey, when are you gonna come out with something? And I was telling you, man, real soon it's coming. Yeah. And then when I came out with Make Real Estate Real, probably a few months after that, what made you jump on it?
You, man, like, it's funny because I think you, the first one I didn't make it to. And that to me, like the whole thing, right? Like everything we do, going to conferences, all this stuff, talking about accountability. That time when you did the first one, and then you text me like, yo, where you at?
I remember that.
And I remember for me, you know, again with life, I was just like, oh, damn, because you told me you were going to check on me, and then you did it. So to me, I'm getting emotional now. Yeah, like that's the type of impact, man, where you actually kept your word, man.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, when you sent me that, I was like, oh, damn, I'll be at the next one. Yeah. You know, and sure enough, when you set up the second one, I took my daughter.
I remember
and I think I don't think we even hit lunch yet, man, when I did your course, and I was all ready to go, man, because all the information that I had got already, and I even told my daughter, like, we could leave already. I already know what to do. You know.
So let me ask you something. What stood out to you the most? Like when you went through the course, because you actually was one of the ones, so we had the in-person conferences and we had the online, and you were one of the first waves of people that actually got into the in-person, so you was exposed like in person. What stood out the most to you about that whole process?
Just everything, man, like all the, pretty much, like me knowing, you know, as from business and investing and all that stuff, right? I know what it takes to have to go out and get it, and find it, and build your network, build your team. So for you to present your team, I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, to me, it was like, no way, this can't be true. You know
by the way, I gotta admit, not only did I present my team to you, you actually took my actual real estate broker and moved her out here with you. But we would talk about that on another time.
Man, it's all right, man.
Yeah, but no, that's good. Nobody else I would have gave it to but you. So.
Right, I appreciate that, man. It's all love and
so now
from
going through the course. So once you went through the course, like, you didn't have any prior knowledge about real estate investing, or did you have any knowledge?
I had an idea. Like, I had a pretty good idea, but I would hit a wall at, say, like at the Burr, right? Trying to do the whole Burr, right? So I'm like, okay, I know I can do this. I know I can get the property. But then the same thing, right? Being in contracting myself, I knew, okay, like the rehab part, but then what? You know, then what? Then, you know, and that's why when you had your team and then you had them all up there, each presenting, and then they had, you know, where we could question them. After every time they talked, like the whole group thing, is every question I had got answered. And that's where, for me, it pretty much, you laid it out, where it's like, okay, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this, and you need this, and that's it. And the last two steps is like, okay, now I know, you know. And then I got that from that morning of your course, and then the way you took us on tour of an actual property, man, that to me was like, again, I do surveys and stuff for a living too, right? Where I gotta go survey whatever I gotta do construction wise, job wise. So for you to actually do that, to me, it was like, that's all I needed.
From the time that you went through the course to now, all of a sudden, you actually pulled the trigger. What that process looked like?
No, we started in Chicago too, and then remember I brought my dad with me. The prices there were just crazy, man, and I couldn't believe it. I looked in Ohio too. I looked into other states, and seeing some of the prices out there, I was like, no way, this can't be true, right? And the same thing with you, talking with you, and you showing me numbers, I was like, there's no way. But then when I actually seen them, I was like, how many can I get?
Yeah, I remember that.
But at the same time, I was just like, no, you know what? Let's just start with a few and let's see how it goes, and let's go through the whole. Me being in Arizona, like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to fly out here. Let me see how this is gonna work, And after we went through that process of a year, 2 years, renting them out, we bought and held, and so we rented out, became landlords. Going through all that process, we learned, okay. We learned the game as we needed to know it, so then it became like, cool, now we could go here. Let's go here, let's go there, start looking and pretty much building a portfolio, but of like more of a family portfolio for me, where vacation homes, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same process, learning from what you learned from you taught, man, about is it worth it? Is there profit? Can I make money if I got to get rid of it? And that's just everything that I do is based off of that now, even business and I'm into classic cars, man, so I do the same thing with them. It's like I go through the whole BRRRR process.
It's all real estate, right?
Yeah.
Man, one thing that stood out to me about you was that, you always made it about family. And that was one thing that, for me, in there is always about, I always ask people, like, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? And the people that's the most successful in real estate are the ones that's doing it beyond the watches and just to buy a car and things like that. When you came to Chicago and you had your dad there at the closing, bro, that was powerful. I remember sitting there, I popped up on you, matter of fact. I popped up on you at the closing downtown, and I got a chance to meet your dad and to just see that, you're doing this for your family. That was big, man. That was big. And so now, looking back now, it's been what 5 years or so. You're a professional now, right? You're a professional in real estate,
Yes, sir, man. I can't thank you enough, man, for you to take that on and that weight, man, because we all know what it takes to build and carry, and so for you guys, and then you and your family, man, your wife, man, you guys, like for you to take that on and carry so many people, and I know what you guys gone through and building that. Same thing with Miss April and her team, everybody at TAD, it's like I know the weight, and so like seeing some of the processes and things like that is like, man, like I can't thank you enough for allowing, like, man, I'll share with this. Let me see if I can hold my emotions. But, so like when we came back, man, when me and my dad came back, the first thing he said, like when we were driving, it was like late at night, probably 11, 12 at night, man, we were driving home. And he said, he's like, I always wanted to do real estate, and I was just like, you never said nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so I think for him, like it became one of those, to watch me do it, and it be something where, like, damn, I wanted to do it, but for me, like you said, man, I include everybody. So I didn't do it myself. I made sure my dad was involved. He's involved in everything I do, man. He's like my partner as far as business and things like that. And then I got the same thing with my family, everybody in my family, a lot of, family that are, friends, but they're family that support and part of the team and understand what it takes. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest piece, man, is you got to have the people around you that understand what it takes instead of, hating and misunderstanding or thinking you're doing other things, man. And I can't, thank God enough for that, surrounding me with the right people, putting me in the right positions like to meet you, man. Like I said, because that day for me is like, I tell that to everybody, man. I went there thinking like, I don't need this. I already know all this stuff.
Yeah.
And here we are, you know what I mean? Like years later, man. And not only the mentorship, the friendship, man, you know what I mean, that came with it, and everybody else around. It's a beautiful thing, man, and a blessing, and I share it all the time, man. I share it all the time to everybody, and I told a lot of people that you were gonna be here, and because of that, man. That's what you mean to me, and again, your family, Miss April. But now Miss April's up the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she is.
So we could be at her place now.
But no, man, it's something that I'm sure you heard me say this hundreds of times from the stage. I say this on the podcast. I say this all the time. My pastor, man, Pastor Hannah, he once told me this years ago, probably over 20 years ago. He said, Jemal, one man's obedience is connected to so many other people's destiny.
Yeah.
Just think about that. One man's obedience, one man, one woman's obedience is connected to so many other people's destiny. Yeah. And by what you accomplishing now, think about how many other people are about to, their destinies is connected to what it is that you're doing now. Yeah. You took the information that I had, and look, I wasn't the creator of this information, right? I've had other people that was in my life, people like April, people like Rob Sabri, my father-in-law, my wife's grandma, other people who was in real estate investing before me. Yeah. And then I was able to take that information and then put it in a course, expose people to it, and then now you all are all going out here in the world and doing your things, and now you got people looking at you, and so man, one man's obedience is connected to so many other people's destiny. So now you are part of this ecosystem. So I know you thank me a lot, but I thank you for actually carrying the torch, being a good steward of it, and making sure that our words and the things that we do not going on deaf ears, man. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, man, and I thank you for that. But again, man, I can't thank you enough. And for me, the way I say it is we gotta take care of the people that take care of us, right? And that's even if that's sharing the story, And that's why for me, like I said, man, it coming from that, right, where it's like, man, I got my mentor was a police officer, where I grew up thinking like, oh, that's the other side, you know what I mean? And it's like, so for me, it's like I use that a lot in teaching too, and talking to kids, with the stuff we do, where it's like the way we get, programmed to think certain things, and then we block so much out, where if you just be open, man, you just become that sponge, and that's the thing where like you're finding a bunch of sponges everywhere, man, and then you're feeding that info, and for me, man, I'll never stop giving you that praise, because it's hard to find that, man. It's hard to find that, and especially at this age, I tell my kids, I tell a lot of the kids that it's hard to find good people that what do they call it now, man, where they they don't want to share the information, right? And that's like a new
gatekeeping.
Yeah, gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping.
And then that's like we're surrounded by non-gatekeepers. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing, and it's crazy because people don't see that.
Absolutely.
People don't see that, and it blows my mind, but it's something that, again, like, you got the gates wide open for us, man, and look at what you created on that end, and now it's helping others, right? And so I always give you that praise, brother. I appreciate you, man. And
what would you tell a younger Ernie, like right now? If you can go back in the past, what would you go back and tell that younger guy? The guy that was hoping, the guy that was watching Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, because I got a similar story. Like, I came up on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and at the age of 8 years old, I remember telling my mom I was gonna be a millionaire. And I kept that image in my head, and I kept going. What would you tell your younger self if you can go back right now?
So, how would you do it if you had the technology of the day, or the same as before, right? Because that's what I would tell myself, like if I could go back and talk to myself, would be like, man, like, pay attention to money, learn finance. Some of the things like today, what I do today, like, I used to not like at all at school. I mean, like science and English, like, where now all I got to do is I got to make sure everything I type is on point, right? And working with like chemicals and things like that, right, where it would be science, right? And I think about back in the day, like, I didn't like those classes, but it's because I didn't understand what I needed to learn and in those moments, right? So that's what I would tell myself is pay attention and understand the info you're getting is info to help, not just, you're not just in class or talking to somebody. One of the things I teach people a lot now is exposure, man. Like, and that's something we talk about, you say all the time, man. And when we read books, right, to gain exposure, and people, I used to read books just to finish and say I read it, and tell my teacher or whatever, oh, yeah, I'm done with the book, it talked about this, but now I'd be like, no, man, I read chapter 1 like 20 times, and chapter 10, I read that like 30 times, and to really understand the exposure you're getting from a book.
And speaking about exposure, you have a non-for-profit, right, that deals with the youth, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So we got the For Life Foundation here in Arizona. We're known for our Christmas events. That's what we're really known for. We give away, free gifts to a lot of underprivileged kids, but really everybody's welcome. We also started the For Life University, where we bring kids from all over. We teach them about banking, credit, real estate, anything to do with life, business. We teach them like anything they want to learn about. Really, we have monthly phone calls with some of these kids. The last call we just had, we were talking about taxes, teaching kids about taxes and things like that. So, and those again are things that like with some of these kids, we make them put in their work, right? They got to show us good grades. Yeah. They got to write us a letter why we should let them into this program. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's, of course, in hindsight, to sit and think like, man, if I had this, and I tell them that all the time, man, if I had what you guys have right now, like, if you guys think I'm killing it now, like, imagine if I had that info. So that's what we push hard now, is that like, man, like listen to this exposure you're getting, and understand the experience you're getting just from that, and I'll share like one of the stories we just had on the call, where we had a young girl that she does nails and stuff like that, right? And she like, her story was like, she's like, well, I have money I put in the bank and it's just sitting there, so I just use it. so but her question was taxes. She's like, but I'm worried about my taxes. So we gave her a whole game plan on what to do moving forward, right? And like when we ended the call, she's like, I can't wait for the next one. I need to touch up on this game plan and all this stuff, to where, so I, again, like, man, if I had that when I was young, man, you know what I mean? Like,
what's the age group?
So usually we do between 14, 18, like late junior high school. Yeah. But now some of them kids got older, so now they're 21, 22. So we let them stay in the group, and they're like, they become mentors for the younger kids, and showing them like, look, these kids were here too, and now they're right there. Look at what they're talking about. So you could be that kid too.
Man, anytime you want to get me on a call.
Oh yeah, definitely,
I would love
man.
To jump on, man.
That's a must. It's a must, man, and we'll definitely set that up for sure. But yeah, everybody, man, I like to have everybody, because everybody has a story, man, to share with them, and some of these kids, it's a beautiful thing to me, because I'm that kid, and so sitting there and hearing some of these things where, back in the day, and I never heard none of those stories. So for them to give them that opportunity and that few steps ahead of the game, I think is priceless for them. So, and then same thing, just like you did with me, man, they're gonna go do that and share with others,
Your level of exposure will determine your level of success.
Yep.
So now you've accomplished a lot. You've taken real estate and you've taken it to another level, right? You came out here in Arizona, you invested in Chicago, you did things, in Arizona now. So like, what's next for you?
I think it's going to be kind of the same thing. Where right now we're like in the Airbnb scene, and going that route. And that's kind of where we're at. Like okay, what kind of short-term rentals can we get into or create? Me and you might talk about some of that stuff, man. But like, that's kind of where we're into right now. Where the short-term, what cities is it hot at? What we could do. We've been looking at condos. I mean, anything, man. Anything that could be related to that, and create our own system instead of using other systems as well, is one of the things that we're looking at.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man, just being who you are, bro. Yeah, you're a good one. We've had, I can't even count how many, maybe 15,000 or so members come through Make Real Estate Real. But when I got to name my top one, it's you. And it don't have nothing to do about how many properties you did. It doesn't have anything to do about, what city, how much money you made. It's about your character. It's about who you always been. And it's about your heart, man, and your love for people, bro. So, man, I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And keep exposing the people, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother, man.
Sure.
Can't thank you enough, man.
Absolutely. That's good. So join me on the next episode as we share another success story from Make Real Estate Real.